Hey everyone, welcome to the first video on my channel that I am starting because your girl got heckin' addicted to everything journaling, planning, pens, all of that stuff in 2024. So I don't know about what you guys like to do on the Sunday before the start of a new year, but I like to have let's call it a existential crisis of everything planner related. So, leaning heavily on Casey Neistat, let's do one day or day one, right? Also known as strike when the manic is hot. So I had planned on starting this channel at the beginning of the new year after I had done plenty of research on how to do videos, how to record, how to do editing, all of that. But yeah, Sunday night, why not? So what is this video going to have? It's going to have my 2024 setup, what I finally found worked for me. It's going to have what I thought my 2025 setup was going to be. And then it's going to have trying to figure out what the heck my 2025 setup is going to be. So let's get started. All right. My 2024. So I went through a bit of a experiment in the beginning of 2024. I bought a cousin. I then went to an A6 original. Then I tried an Aura Estelle Weeks and then a B6. And then lo and behold, I ended up back with a cousin, which is where I found my sweet spot. So here's what it looked like with the pages that I feel comfortable sharing with you. So in the beginning, like many people, I just used this as kind of a tracker of what I was doing as well as birthdays that were happening here. Nothing really fancy, anything like that here, but it is something I want to keep doing in the future. Then take a look at what my December looks like. Pretty ordinary calendar. I track the weather. I track different things that are going on. Anything that's noteworthy, like, hey, I got a new car. That's awesome. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to go back and I'll put a highlights and lowlights right here of the great things that happened and the not so great things that happened. Then moving on, as I mentioned, I kind of went through a period of time where I was trying to figure out what my ideal planner setup was. And so I went back and forth so many times that when I finally landed on the cousin, that meant I had a lot of backfilling to do. So backfilling for me meant I was going to just put a very brief synopsis of what happened that day because I'm not going to spend all of that time trying to figure this out. And then as we got going, let's see. You can see the various iterations here. So here is when I went to the weeks version of the Aura Estelle, which was great. Just not enough room for me because I realized I really like to journal about my days. And then when I backfilled to the cousin, again, I didn't want to spend the time doing all that stuff. So I just cut my book up and I washi taped it in. It's been working good. Then you can see I went to the B6, which was also working great. But again, found out I needed even more space to journal because that was where my happy place was memory keeping. So in the end, this is kind of what my spreads look like. So this spread right here is from when I was on a vacation. Me and a group of girlfriends went to New York for the stationery festival that was hosted by Yoseka. So this has a lot of like ephemera type stuff and writing about different things that happened and what we did. And then I got into putting in the prompts from the Coffee Monster Co. So it kind of evolved into this, where the prompts here, different things happening, or here. December has been kind of an odd month where I haven't really, journaled a lot. It's kind of like one of those months where everything's happening and nothing's happening at the same time. So that's kind of where I am with that. There are the whole middle section here before I decided to make a separate work planner, has work-related things, so I don't feel comfortable sharing those pages at all. And then in the back, I kept track of my media consumption, because I also got really big into K-dramas this year, so I was logging all of them. And very quickly, on that note, it's kind of fun. This was the first time I ever tracked my media consumption, and I had no idea that I watched so much stuff in the span of a year. So I really, really enjoyed this and decided I wanted a separate a place to kind of keep all of this. So one of the things that's set in stone for me for 2025 is, oh goodness, let's take this out, is a dedicated media journal like this, where I'll have this is just sample pages where I'll have what I watched, my rating of it really quickly, and then once I get into the weeks, here's a sample. I'll have TV shows, movies, books, season information or genre page, the source, and my thoughts on it. So I'm really looking forward to this. This one's set in stone. I don't have to worry about this guy. My problem lied in the fact that once I decided I needed all of the space for journaling, I went on a hunt for the perfect planner. What I ended up with was a Sterling Ink B5, common planner. This guy right here. And I thought it was going to be the end-all be-all of what I needed. But we've got a nice little cover for it, bought a cover for it. I had all of my fun decorating it out, doing all of this stuff, adding my pocket, like Helen at the Coffee Monster Co. showed us how to do. And then I enjoyed writing my goals here and how to break them down in this view, looking at it quarterly, my logging again. This was just going to be highlights right here from the month. And the monthly, I already had this set up for January. I went through and had a great time, just in a complete flow state, setting all these guys up. It was wonderful. And then I set up this, which I thought was the right thing. It was good. It had everything I needed. I was originally going to put my food here, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and any snacks, which is what I was doing in the cousin on the weekly pages, which I really enjoyed. But I've made a separate health type journal for that stuff, so you can ignore these little guys. This is going to be for to-dos or appointments that are happening. And then this would just kind of be a running, here's what happened during the day. And then I was going to put the page numbers, because these come with little page numbers at the bottom, there, and that way I could find it really easy if I wanted to. But as I sat down tonight, inking up my pens for the month of January, getting really excited to do this, I just fell out of love with it. I was so excited about this for like a month and a half, and now it's like, I tried again. I thought maybe it was the lines that were bugging me, you know, being a little OCD, and the fact that I didn't mean to put this line or this line, so I was fixing the lines and doing this, and then it was slowly sinking in on me that I was going to have to write these weekly and monthly trackers every single time. And the spend log was cool, but in my mental health traveler's notebook that I set up, I have a spend log there. So why am I doing that twice? Yeah, which leads us to where we were, because as though I am really, really looking forward to, or was, having a whole sheet to write for a day. So I might write a small paragraph. I might write an entire page. You know, maybe it's one line. I have no idea. But I was looking forward to having all this space to do whatever I wanted with, and to be able to skip a day without it really annoying me that I have blank pages. So here's where I am now. Let's figure out what I need. This is a notebook that I got and had no idea these grids were so big, and I've been trying to figure out something to use it for. So it's going to be a scrap notebook. All right, so the way I look at it, there's needs and wants to everything, right? So the needs would be the most important. What do I need in a planner or journal system, whatever? And then what do I want, right? So I've been thinking about this and what I need, right? What I need is things that made me happy, which is journaling, right? And that's why I was so excited about the size of it. So journaling / memory keeping, right? And then I need tracking, because this year I really want to go for some kind of audacious goals. And I think that I need some kind of dedicated tracking to keep myself accountable. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to have to rewrite that over and over and over and over again. And then I need highlights, right? The highlights are the things that kind of jog your memory, or at least my memory of what happened. And then I can do synopsises of the month easier that way when I look back. I know that I've been spending a lot of time the last 2 weeks looking back over 2024, and I would go to the highlights and then I'd flip to the page and read more about it. So I really want that thing. I need appointments and tracking, right? I need somehow to do my to-do lists. I need important dates. So those are birthdays, Memorial Days, PTO, stuff like that. I think those are my needs. And then, so for my wants, a lot of the wants come from some of the videos that I watch on YouTube here from all the folks in the planner community. And so I want a way to do some kind of when did I last, right? Owning a home, you have to kind of keep track of when the last time you did certain things were, so you can do home maintenance. And then also I have pets, so I want to know when the last time they had their checkups, baths, flea medication, and so on. So I really want something like this. I've heard it called future me problems, right? So like some kind of, not necessarily a future log, because I look at that in a different way, but like a future me problems of here's the thing that I need to do, but I don't necessarily need to do it right now, but I want to get it out of my mind so that I quit thinking about it. So I want something like that. And then I've heard it called then and again. This is basically when you do a really quick snapshot at the end of 2024, and then you do it again at the end of 2025. I want the ability to write a letter to myself, because this being my first year of journaling, I've realized looking back through my journal, things have changed a lot for me. And so I want some way to kind of write a letter to myself, store it, and be able to look at it at the beginning of next year. And maybe it'll allow me to be kind of kind to myself if I didn't get all of my big audacious goals done. Who knows? But I'd like to spend New Year's Day or New Year's Eve writing this. I have a problem with decluttering, right? And I want a way to put in some kind of declutter list. That way I can take it in little chunks. So, and maybe I make that declutter list as a combination of a task list where you break things up into, this is going to take me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half a day, full day, so on. And that way, when I have time, I can slowly work on decluttering, because I feel like sometimes I'm suffocating under the amount of things that I have, and I want to simplify a bit. And then I've kind of thought about this ideal day and a schedule. And this might go towards my goal building as well. But I saw a couple of people do this where they write down the things that they would do in their ideal day, and then a day when they're not at their topmost, and then a day when they're just doing good to get out of bed. That way you can kind of look at that day and say, okay, I'm doing okay. I don't have to do all of these other things. Or you look back and you're, oh, I should have worked out. I should have had all the water. I should have had, 3 square meals a day, whatever. And then, but you weren't having your most best day. So I want something like that I can look at and be like, okay, I met my bare minimums. And then I like to go on trips. So I want a trip plan someplace. The last trips I went on this year, I had it in multiple notebooks, trying to kind of make plans. And I think, oh, I don't want to bleed through anymore and ghosting. Right? I hate it. That was my one thing that was a little annoying about the Hobonichi cousin. Understandably, it's thin paper, so it's not massive. But I really like a thicker paper so I don't have to worry about all the bleed through. And long story short, where does this get me? I have spent the last 2 hours online researching a planner that does all this, and there isn't one. So I think I'm going to take my first stab at bullet journaling and try to set up some intro pages that can stay the same, but I can revisit easily. Like things like my when did I last and the future me's can be right up at the front. The then and agains can be way in the back, as well as the letter. The declutter list close to the front so I can get to it pretty quickly. The ideal day and schedule I think should be towards the front. And then all of these kind of go into what will happen after this. So put those pages up front and then have a calendar where I can write what happened that day and use it kind of as an index to find it. Some kind of real future log where I can have 12 months at a glance so that I make sure I'm putting in my, important dates, doctor's appointments, and so on, so that I can easily transfer them to a calendar view. And then I think a bi-week task list would be good, because I do need some kind of to-do. But I don't necessarily need a to-do of every single day. Just get it done and within this week would work for me. And then the daily writing would just be a free-for-all. And I'm kind of excited for that because I bought these calendars and I was going to use these peels for the days. Or I also have this one, which I went ahead and stuck down the first one, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I can use that for those so I can have fun with that. I also have an Eric Small Things vellum calendar I was thinking about pasting in there. Okay, so all of this, what's that to say? I think I have a plan going forward. I think I've burnt out my manic energy talking to my empty room and you. I accomplished my first recording of a YouTube video. We'll see how good it is. Hopefully it's great. I've realized I've said right too many times, and also that my hands are very ink stained because I was cleaning pens earlier. Yeah. So next video, maybe it'll be struggling through how to set up a bullet journal, which I've never done before, and somehow do it before the first, which is in just a couple of days. We got this, right? It's all good. Okay. So thanks if you stayed to the end. Hopefully these things will get better, and see you next time. All right.